Imagine lying in bed in the pitch black and feeling a hand slowly creeping up your chest with spider-like autonomy. Your immediate instinct is to assume that hand belongs to you, that the I inside your head is a single unified pilot driving a single physical machine. But biological reality tells a different story. The human skull houses two entirely independent minds. Your left and right hemispheres possess completely different personalities, specialized skills, and conflicting desires. The only structure preventing these two minds from operating as separate entities is the corpus callosum. It is a specific, narrow bridge of nerve fibers that tethers the two massive hemispheres together. In the mid-20th century, surgeons began treating severe epilepsy by physically cutting this bridge. With a single slice of a scalpel, they permanently severed the connection between the two hemispheres. The result was alien hand syndrome. Without that bridge to coordinate their goals, the two halves of the brain began to fight for control over the body's output channel. A patient's right hand would work to button up a shirt, while the left hand trailed right behind, aggressively unbuttoning it. One hand would pick up a newspaper to read, while the other would immediately slap it back down. When your conscious mind is entirely unable to stop your own hand from acting against you, it proves you are not in ultimate control. The unity of your body is an active, fragile achievement. But what happens when the delicate alliance between hemispheres isn't cleanly severed, but one side is catastrophically damaged by a stroke? You might expect the survivor to panic or struggle with the loss. Instead, when the right hemisphere is damaged, the result is an eerie, absolute apathy toward half of existence. Patients with hemi-neglect, like a woman named Ellen, often appear perfectly lucid until they interact with the world. She would apply lipstick and mascara, but only to the right side of her face, leaving the left side completely untouched. Another patient would finish his meal and complain to the nurses that his plate was empty, even though the food on the left side of the tray remained perfectly intact. These patients aren't blind. Their eyes still receive the data, but the damaged brain deletes the concept of leftness. A healthy brain uses an internal searchlight to scan for attention. In these patients, that mechanism is broken. The beam sweeps from the right, but hits an invisible wall at the center line. It cannot penetrate the void. When the right brain fails, the surviving left brain doesn't search for the missing half. It erases it entirely to maintain a false sense of order. This cognitive cover-up reaches its extreme with anosognosia. A patient named Mrs. Dodd was completely paralyzed on her left side, yet she remained blissfully unaware of her predicament. When her doctor asked her to clap, she would raise only her right arm and swing it in the air. When asked if she had clapped, she would confidently say yes. This happens because the left hemisphere houses the language center. It acts as the spokesperson for the entire brain. When the right hemisphere is damaged, the left brain no longer receives feedback about the paralyzed limb. Rather than admit ignorance, the spokesperson simply invents a fictional narrative to explain the lack of movement. The part of your brain responsible for logic and speech is a retrospective storyteller. It manufactures a coherent narrative, even if it means denying physical reality. This clinical evidence points to a chilling conclusion about your own consciousness. The internal monologue you hear right now, the voice that feels like you, is merely the narrator of your left hemisphere. Beneath the chatter, the right hemisphere exists as a mute observer. It is a fully conscious entity that understands the world, feels emotion, and makes decisions, but it possesses no way to speak for itself. Your brain operates as a team of rivals, competing subsystems fighting for control of your behavior. In a healthy brain, the corpus callosum works overtime to hide these conflicts, making the narrator's story feel unified. Subscribe now to see how this internal parliament actually runs your life. Most of your actions are actually run by alien subroutines, automated programs like walking or serving a tennis ball that your conscious narrator has no access to. This silent partner has its own agenda, and while the narrator takes credit for every action, it is often just guessing why the body moved in the first place. The next time your hand moves seemingly on its own, remember that the narrator is just a PR agent. When you fall asleep tonight, the narrator powers down, but that silent partner is still awake. What does it intend to do?